how does beauty arise in nature? Because beauty is, if you like, it's something which is not necessary. It's added, but for what purpose? We see, for instance, in parts of the tail of the peacock, you'll see the eye, which is looks a bit like a cardioid. And it's a very wonderful geometric shape, which is made out of golden ratios in terms of the distances from one edge of the eye to the other end of the eye, and the ratio of that distance to the distance across is a golden ratio. Now, there seems to be no obvious reason why the feather of a peacock should have this beautiful structure, because, to be frank, a lot of the peahens, when they see all these peacocks around, actually go round to the back of the peacock and don't particularly necessarily enjoy the wonderful display of feathers that the peacock gives. And yet on this peacock feather, you've got colours which are only formed by iridescence. Iridescence is when the colour is formed by a reflective capability of the surface of the feather. So that means that every little barb that I was describing of feathers earlier for flight feathers, but if you're talking about here feathers for beauty, every single feather has to change its reflective capability just at one point and then regain it at another point, and that whole structure has to move as it grows, right? What's more, one feather or one barb of the feather has to show this structure, and the next barb has to show the same structure but with a slightly different change in the size of that structure. The next barb has to show it with a slightly different change, and so on and so forth, until when you actually look at the feather plan form on, you see iridescent blue in that particular location. And this whole thing is growing with the feather. Well, everything is telling me that this is not due to anything other than added beauty of the creature concerned. It's not there really for any other functional reason, because other birds get on quite happily without their males having to display such, what, to be frank, almost are ridiculous tails. Not only that, there are some birds, like birds of paradise, which have elongated strands which they have to carry around with them as they're flying. Indeed, it could be argued that they impede the flight of those birds. So there is mathematical beauty in many of these creatures, and it's often been linked with, as I mentioned, the golden ratio. So why is there such a thing as beauty at all? Why is there even such mathematically described beauty in terms of the golden ratio, which occurs also in the plant world, occurs in the number of whorls that you have in pineapples and fir cones. These number of whorls are linked with the Fibonacci series, which itself is linked with the golden ratio. So many people have asked these questions as to why nature is full of inherent beauty. And it's very difficult to explain this other than by simply saying that God is a mathematician of a high order and who has actually put into this world signs of his beauty.